Hello techies. Welcome to our brand new video series focused on helping you get the most of your experiences in life. Before we start the video, let's know about Upptalk. Upptalk is a live, interactive platform for software training, furnishing robust personalities who could take on universal business platforms.
So as we have discussed about the foundation object at the initial starting of the Employee Center, so we have covered all the foundation object. So, among the other foundation objects we have, SAP has categorized some of the objects under the other foundation. That includes the workflow, event, reason and dynamic work. These are also a part of foundation object. So if we want to go and create a workflow, if we want to go and create event reason or the dynamic work, we need to go into the configuration tool that is managed of paid job and structure. So that is one thing. But what is a workflow? What is the feature of the workflow? So before going into the workflow, we need to understand the process of the organization. Every organization. When the end user from the organization side, when they are making some changes in the employee profile, those changes, after making the changes generally, they will go and save those changes in the system. But if the management from the organization side they don't want the changes should be saved automatically. It has to send a notification to the reporting manager or to the HR admin, whoever are the responsible approvals. And, after receiving the notification, those approvals need to validate those changes. And then after that, once they are approving it, they have the authority that they can prove it or they can decline it. If any changes is required, they can decline it and send it back to the initiator. So that type of a mechanism where an approval can be able to approve the changes or they can be able to decline it. If they are approving it, that will be, or the system will automatically take that accept that approved request and the changes will be automatically updated in the system. This type of a mechanism we have in various organizations where they want to have this sort of process, where an end user may be an employee or may be a manager. When they make some changes in the employee profile, it should not save automatically, but it should send a notification for the approval, for approving that changes. And this process. What SAP has done. The SAP has created a feature that features this, called as a workflow. And with the help of the workflow, this process can be mapped out by the workflow feature. And whenever a changes is being done in the employee profile by any specific role, either the employee or the manager's manager, that will send a notification for the approval with the help of this feature. So that is the purpose of coming up with this feature, that is, for less and more flow. And when they introduced this workflow, they decided that to keep this workflow feature under the foundation object. So when the object is coming under the foundation object, for creating that record for that object we will be using the manage of job and structure. Okay. So let me go and share my Excel again to go and see some part of the theoretical concept here. Then we go into the system. So, generally, to summarize, let me go into my Excel first of all. So, to go ahead, we can able to say that workflow is something, a feature, which will help us to send a approval request whatever the change or whatever the action is performed in the system. And, according to the action, a change has been occurred and that change will trigger the workflow and the notification will be sent to the approvals. So for that we should have this workflow. So workflow is a foundation of that. So to configure a workflow, we need to define the following aspects. So we need to have the list of approvals. Then we should have the triggering of the workflow. Okay. So triggering of the workflow. Then the notification has to be sent to the approval. Okay. For the process of implementing and configuring the workflow and the notification. These are the areas which we are focusing on. So this? It specifies that first we have to set up a workflow. Okay. After, setting up a workflow means in the setting up of the workflow there should be. We will go and see how to set up a workflow. But in a high-level overview. We are going and seeing setting up the workflow, defining the rules to trigger the workflow. So when you set up a workflow, to trigger the workflow, there should be some rules. Okay. Defining the rules, and there will be some features which we need to configure for the workflow and to get the workflow notification. We need to assign that particular workflow rules to the correct area so that the workflow notification should be sent to the approvals. Okay. So when the workflow notification will be sent to the approvals, how the notification will be sent. So for sending the notification. So when we receive the notification generally we will receive the notification in two ways, either into the SuccessFactors system or also into the email. Okay. So managing the workflow requires. So for managing the workflow also in the homepage we require these tiles. In the to-do section we should have the tiles. What are the tiles we should have? One is the approval request and one is the take action. Okay. Approval request specifies, user can access the workflow request. Take action. User can review the alert. Whatever is the alert, which will be receiving that alert, which will be updating in the take action title. Okay. So these two tiles should be there in the to-do section in the homepage of the template. Okay. To make sure the workflow work as expected and notification as and successfully. For that also we should have the email settings. Okay. To have the proper email setting, what is happening? Workflow and alert notifications are sent to the employees through the email. Okay. It will get the notification in the to-route aisle also, as well as in the email. Also to get it into the email we should have. We should maintain the pop-all email information. Well, we will maintain the email information. When we are creating the user. We have seen 4 methods, UDF, Adnium, Ploy, 6 basic files. And also we have seen from the provisioning. So when we are maintaining the employee data, in that we should have to maintain the valid email addresses. Then only the notification will be received in the email. Okay. That is one now coming into further. Workflow screen is divided into 3 parts. Now we are discussing about the workflow. So it's a foundation update. When you're going and creating the workflow from the manage also paste structure. It is divided into 3 parts. What are the 3 parts? Which has been divided into a pool, contributor, and the CC load. Okay. So the workflow screen is divided into 3 parts. That is the approval contributor and the CC load. Okay. So let me go and show you in the system parallelly so that we will have a clarity for that. So let me go into manage of job-based structure. Okay. So I will go to manage all job-based structure. Okay. So when I go into workflow you can see workflow here. Select the workflow.
Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us at sales@upptalk.com.